Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I just like to share my account with you and discuss the game, the current state of the game, things like that. So why don't we start by talking about the summons. So we have Hasna, she came out last week, and this was a skip for me. I was so glad to finally get a break after all of these top characters coming out. It's hard to keep up with all of the summons, and I had a brutal summon for my August. If you saw my August video, that was not so great.
It's over. We are screwed.
So to get a break with Hasna is great. And next week we have Homer coming out. And yeah, I think Homer's gonna be a good character to have, but I'm not so sure I'm gonna go all out on her. So I'll see how I approach Hasna when she comes out. And we have a Destined banner with Inanna again. So previously she was with in a Destined banner with Xavier, I think. But my advice for these Destined banners, if you probably already know, but would be don't go all in on these banners. Because it's quite difficult to get the character you want. It's 75% chance to get either one of them. And if you activate that 75% chance, then there's only a 50% chance you'll get the one you want. So to go all in on a Destined banner, you may end up with like multiple copies of the other character that you don't want. So when you do this, make sure you have a plan. I pulled on the Inanna and Xavier's banner, and I said I was going to pull about 20 or 30 pulls, and I was lucky to get her on the 20th pull. But yeah, you need to decide how many you're going to pull. Don't go all in on a banner like this. Rather go all in on a debut banner for a character you really want. So yeah, that's just my bit of advice. Also, these Destined banners, there's usually one character you're not interested in, or a bad character, if I can put it that way. And that's usually how Destined banners go. And I don't know why they never have two really great characters next to each other. But it would be nice in the future if they can have, like for example, a Pamina and maybe an alternative Rawia on, you know, in the future. That would be a nice Destined banner. But on the other hand, I'm kind of glad that the Destined banner is not so appealing. Because if it was more appealing to me, then I probably would pull more on the Destined banners, and as a free-to-play player, I'd run out of a Hope Luckside quickly. So maybe they shot themselves in the foot by making Destined banners so crappy. Because I think people would have pulled a lot more summons if both of these were good. Yeah, so that's the summons. And then let's take a look at the shop. So there's not much to do at the shop for me personally. I usually just go to the exchange and I'll get this random legendary trinket. So I'll break down legendary weapons that I'm not using. I don't really break down trinkets that much unless I really don't want the trinket or don't need it. But I have a lot of bows that I don't need because I don't have characters that use ranged weapons. Unfortunately, I don't have many great characters. And if I look ahead at characters that are coming out that use bows as well, then it's like, well, there's not that many. So I just broke down all of those weapons and tried pulling on these. Yeah, so I think you need to plan ahead with what you wanna equip your characters with. And then reputation, you always gotta buy these good things like the Radiant Ore, etc. while it's still here. I've never actually needed Star Particles. I've never ran out of this. And Elysium Coins as well. But yeah, this is usually what I always buy as soon as it refreshes. So yeah, I might check out this. Wait, let's see what we get. Oh yeah, you should take these as well. You get Series 2 trinkets, although this one is terrible. Let's buy all of these. Okay, nothing great, yeah. Yeah, so that's what I do there at Reputation. Memory crystals. So, this is a must buy for me. I haven't bought any of these things. I'm not going to use memory crystals on tarots. But I do like this. We get 5 summons for 5,000, so I'll buy that now. Got 5 secret fate. Yeah, I mean, this is the big prize, right? Legendary character selection. It feels like forever away. And then insignia. I'll usually always grab these trinkets and weapons and stuff. And all of these legendary items. And the rest I usually just skip. So that's kind of what I do. And then memorial, we got a bunch of things here. Okay, so that's the shop for me. And then if we go into bonds. So yeah, I have Simona, and I think it's... Let me just show you. If we go into the house. So my room is a total mess. Yeah, I just chucked everything in there. I mean, there's plants on the floor and it's crazy. I mean, there's a chain in front of a chair. There's a treasure chest between a cabinet there. Like, there's no feng shui going on here. I don't know if it matters, but I chucked everything I could in there. And but if it works, it works. And they say it's cozy, etc. And I have my characters in there. Their bonds go up very quickly. So Momo and Simona, they were chilling in the house and they have maxed out on bonds. And actually, I left them in for too long, so my tip to you would be make sure you don't leave a 5-hearted character in the house, because it's a waste. Change them out for someone else so their bond can go up. Because mine went up pretty quickly. So yeah. Right, and then we have talents. So for talents, I'm on Radiance for everything. I think a lot of you are as well. And I didn't have a plan when I first started doing talents. Because I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing. And I couldn't find many guides at the time for how to build talents. But in the end, I just took whatever, and I mean, we're gonna max this thing out eventually anyway, so that's kind of what I've done. And unfortunately, yeah, I think if you're starting a new game or if you're playing earlier, you should build with a plan on your talents. But yeah, that's how my talent tree looks, more or less. And then let me just talk about the events a bit. So Shadow of Calamity, you know, I don't know if it's if I should call this frustrating, annoying, or enjoyable. It's kind of a mix of that. Especially when you have to do the assist mission with characters that, you know, with other characters that are not your own, it can be annoying and frustrating. Yeah, so that was kind of my experience with this event. It's very difficult as well. I'm still struggling on these final 2 assists. And then for Explore, I mean, it's just similar to the previous events. You finish all these, and then what I do is I will sweep. So you get 2 extra rewards every day. I'll sweep these twice a day. I get plus 160%. So I'll do this twice a day, and I get like over 1,000 crusade points. And I did that for about 3 weeks, and then I collected all of these rewards. So seems like the events are just getting copy and paste at this moment. But that's what I did there. Voyage Conundrum must be my favorite, just because it gives us Hope Lucksite. Easy Hope Lucksite. You can actually do this on your own. It's very easy to do with trial and error. Just fill in a bunch of numbers. I can't do it on the computer though, but when I play on my phone, I can sort of just fill in a bunch of numbers and see how many are incorrect, and then by trial and error you can get it unlocked in like 2 minutes. It's quite fun as well to do. So yeah, these are nice easy rewards. Hope Lucksite. This 100-day companionship is kind of a slap in the face. It's not much going on here, and I think we get like way less than the other servers. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think we get 300 Hope Lucksite here and random legendary gear. Probably gonna end up being like a death scythe or something. It's always like that. And new chapter unlocked. So I'm on level 60 now. I've been on level 60 for a while. You start maxing out your weapons and items, and then you get an event like this, right? And the rewards become completely irrelevant for me, because I mean, none of this I need. I don't have enough weapons to upgrade, etc. I mean, look how much I own of this radiant powder. And yeah, I mean, so rewards like this become completely irrelevant. Even the endurance potion, I'm level 60, so I don't really need the XP anymore. This also becomes more irrelevant. And then this is useful. Random legendary gear, probably gonna be a death scythe or something like that again. So that, the gear is useful. And then, yeah, legendary radiant always useful. I'm starting to collect a lot of this as well. So that's nice. But everything else is irrelevant. I mean, this is irrelevant. This is all irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Irrelevant. None of this helps you when you're at this stage of the game. So these rewards are very underwhelming. All of this. I mean, there's just 3 there. But for a player that's not level 60, sure, this will be nice. This helps them get to where we are. So that's great for them. But, you know, these rewards. The best event, the best chapter event was the Akambe event, because that one gave us something like 2,500 Hope Lucksite. Even though the event itself was terrible. I mean, you just talk to people constantly and send out shipments and things like that. But at least the rewards was 2,500 Hope Lucksite. That was great. But these rewards are not good for us. Yeah, so I think that's about it for the events. So and then also on the voyage, if I go to the voyage, the Spiral of Destinies. I'm sorry to be so negative about everything today, but Spiral of Destinies feels okay. When you first play Spiral of Destinies, it is a great experience. It's fun. But after a while, it just becomes completely redundant. I mean, the weak system just doesn't do it, right? It's the same thing over and over. The resting, etc. It's very repetitive, very boring, very tedious. And yeah, it's not really yeah, it's just completely, it's not satisfying at all. I think a better system is if they just created a proper storyline, you know, from start to finish, you know, and have like end game content within that story. Like Final Fantasy games, you have maybe final bosses, and then you have like extra bosses, like the Omega weapons, Ruby weapons. You know, those really powerful bosses that you can sort of build up your team and try to beat them at the end. That would have been a more interesting story to play than to play the same story over and over. You know, you know how it goes, and So I'm really disappointed in the Spiral of Destinies from a late game perspective. From early game perspective, it's fine, you know. It's quite enjoyable. But at this stage, it's not so great. For the Fool's Journey, I've maxed out everything except for this new chapter. Now, a little tip if you don't already know, they'll show you, you know, you have all stars completed, 30 out of 30, 39 out of 39. But what you really need to look at is these numbers down here. Because I missed a lot of these things. There's actually a lot of rewards you may have missed in here. Like maybe the hard stages you didn't all complete. Treasures especially. It's easy to miss the treasures. So just go back and make sure you've gotten everything. Because there may be an extra 80 hope luck site here. An extra 160 here. An extra 240 here or there. So just check that number. Right. Crossing Worlds. What are my thoughts on this? I don't have too much to say here, but the memory retrieval, we only get 9 shards. I wish we get more and like an extra slot for another unit. I think this is a little brutal to only give us 9. I wish they'd give us more there, but it is what it is. Yeah, again, I'm at the point now where a lot of these things are becoming irrelevant. I have so much of these things, that I don't have the characters to spend them on. And if you're like me and you're level 60 for a while now, maybe you're wondering like, well, now what? What do I do with the game now? And actually the game kind of shifts when you get to the late game. Or post late game, because the game goes from being like a active grindy game to becoming more of a casual, relaxed log in, get your rewards, do an event, maybe wait for the next event kind of game. So in a way it's actually nice because you don't have to grind anymore. I mean, I was grinding a lot of, maybe a bit more, too much time in the game in the beginning. And now I can just enjoy the game as a nice casual game and things. So it has its pros and it has its cons. If you really want more content, maybe you can start a new game. But I wouldn't recommend wasting your time unless you really enjoy the game and you need more. So maybe that's something some people do, is start a new game. But yeah, the game really shifts from being a real grindy game to becoming more of a casual game in the end. So yeah. So that's that. And then finally, I'll go over my characters quickly. Not too much going on here. These are all of my characters. Epic characters, rare characters I'm not using so much anymore. They were good for the Tower of Conquest, but I'm clearing them now with these characters now, so I don't need them that much. So Coco, this is my Coco. She's on 3 stars. She's on that journey to 5 stars. We all want to get there with Coco, so that she can activate happiness every turn. One thing I want to show you for Coco, if you don't already know, or not Coco, but for tarots and items. So at the moment, if you take a look at, let's just see. If I equip this item, the Silence of the Hermit, it gives her a increase max HP by 8%. Right, so her HP goes to 7,337. Okay. Whereas if I equip her with the Fool's Naivety, her HP drops to 6,949. right? And the reason that's happening is because, let's just go back to the Silence of the Hermit. So the Silence of the Hermit increases HP by 8%, and this 8% happens immediately under these attributes. Let me just equip it again. So under attributes, immediately you can see the 7,337. Whereas if I go to the Fool's Naivety, under the attributes, it only shows 6,900. But this one is actually adding 10% to her HP, plus an additional 10% because of this. So it's actually increasing her HP by 20%. But it won't show here, and the reason is because this is a skill. So because it's a skill, it's only going to activate once she's in battle. So when she goes into battle, it's going to increase her HP by 20%, which I think is going to bring her up to like 9,000, over 9,000 HP. But it shows less here, so that can be confusing. But they don't calculate these stats for your skills immediately. You actually have to go in battle, and then because it's a skill, it kind of activates in battle, and then you'll see the stats there. So actually, the Fool's Naivety is way more HP. I don't know if I explained that correctly, but yeah, that's something to keep an eye out on. My Momo, this is her. She's the auto queen. I just leave her with these skills, and she just does everything on the battlefield by herself. She's up to 4 stars. I was lucky to pull a copy of her, so she's not too far from 5 stars. And yeah, so Destruction of the Tower is a must-have on her. When it's not the character's turn, damage dealt is increased by 20%. And then you activate this extra 40% lifesteal. Is very great. Keeps her alive, sustains her. And then Hunter's Intuition is a must on her as well. When alert is triggered, deals 25% more damage. And the resonance I use for Momo is I chose the wand, which is one I use a lot on most of my characters, because I love this level 2 attribute buff. After using a basic attack, skill, strike back, or assisting attack, gains 1 random level 2 attribute. So you stack a whole lot of level 2 attributes on you very quickly, and I find that way better, way more effective than just having one little increase in your stats, like this one, for example, Sword. When attacking unharmed enemies, increase crit by 20%. You know, so there's conditions there that are not always easy to activate, and it only increases by 20%. Whereas this wand, you can get like 2-3 buffs in no time, and one of them can be a increase in your crit attack anyway. And the same goes for this damage reduction or increasing attack, increase attack and defense by 12%. You can also get these, or even more than that, with the wand. That's just my personal observation, so I love wand and wand. Momo Glory is always in my team because she always buffs everyone up. And especially that now that August is in my team is very union centered with August, Simone, and Gloria. So her leadership aura is great for them as well. And August, yeah, he's just amazing. Very fun to play as well. And this is his build. Next is Simona, and yeah, Simona's great. This Winter's Doomsday is very effective, and she's on 3 stars. I'd love to get her to 5 stars because then she is immune to attribute debuffs, which is amazing. She'll be very nice for PvP as well. Yeah, and I know maybe I don't have the optimal builds and everything on my characters, but the game is just not forcing me to push my characters to the max at the moment. I mean, maybe when new content comes out, we will have to upgrade our characters, or especially PvP, but at the moment, it's all chilled. Beryl's fallen out of my team lately, but she's still great. Does a lot of damage. Akambe I'm not using enough. He is actually he's very good. But I mean, I'm excited to learn more about him, and I think there's a lot of ways you can use him. My main thing I like about Akambe is his leadership aura. I actually want to do a video on leadership auras. But yeah, he synergizes very well. He's got amazing leadership aura with discipline units. So that's Simona, Safia, Inanna. So they can combine very well, especially with their summoned units like the Hangman's Agent, the Princess's Guard, and then his assassins. He buffs them up as well. So he's all sorts of cool tricks you can do with him. Yeah. And Sophia is just great, just like August. Great characters, fun characters to have on the team. She synergizes well with August as well. Using her Hangman's Agent to reposition August is also a trick you can do. She can even speed up an August by using her her basic attack, to give a speed buff of 150 so that August can keep going if you position him close to her. Things like that. It's very nice. Nono Will I got through a guaranteed random legendary in my August pool video. And she's awesome, but I think I got her a little too late. I've already completed all the bosses and everything, so I didn't get to use her much. I didn't need her much. At the moment I just have her for her aggression leader's aura. She's basically here to buff August. She increases his skill damage by 10%. So Gloria is already giving August attack and defense buffs. So she doesn't give that to August. But she can give him the remaining buffs, which is the skill damage. So she gives him that. Inanna is incredible. I use her a lot. You all know Inanna, I think. And she does so much. Magnus. So I thought Magnus was trolling me. When I pulled for him, I pulled 2 Magnus in one pull. But he actually came at the right time. I was struggling with the second boss, I think. And he helped me to beat the second boss, level 70. Yeah, he's cool. Magnus decreases attack and defense of all enemies within 3 tiles of himself by 8%. So that's really nice. And Rui has fallen out of my team since August came in. The reason being, I mean, she doesn't even have a proper weapon. The reason being is she's a breaker and August is a breaker. And what was the other reason? I mean, August is a union member, and yeah, so August just synergizes so well with Gloria and Simona. Although, you know, Rowea does have a great leadership aura. This is very nice. So she buffs a lot of characters, actually. There's a lot more characters in the Sword of... Wow, a lot in Eerie as well. Sword of Convallaria than I thought. So she does work well with Beryl, with my Beryl, with Nono Will, Inanna and Momo. So, I mean, if the new towers come out, maybe she'll fit in nicely with another team. Then I can start using her again. Battle Guard, these are all great units. Mid-game. All of these. And Angel is just... She doesn't have anything on her at the moment. Angel's incredible. She's been with me since the beginning of the game, even late game, post game. She helps with bosses with this magic defense command, healing, removing debuffs. She's awesome. Yeah, and I think that's about it for my team. A lot of these units I haven't used. I know a lot of them I could have used more. But that's the beauty of this game. You can use whatever you want to use. So yeah, that's it for my team. And yeah, that's all we have. We got some events activated now. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know how your account is going, and let us all know how you feel about the current state of the game. What new things maybe you want to see, and how are you playing the game? Are you disappointed? Are you still satisfied? And or are you excited for the new content, new characters that are coming up? Yeah, let us all know in the comments, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.